I want to talk about the big dogs for a second, the Hogs. How has it been for them transitioning in this offense? Because they obviously ran a lot of zone read with Jalen in the backfield last year, but it seems like you guys, from what I was told in the small little snippet, is you guys are going more zone, outside zone type stuff. How have they been picking that up? Because for me, transitioning from like a duo gap scheme type offense into like the zone was at one point I wanted to quit. I was like, this is horrendous. And then quickly I was like, this might be the best offense you can possibly be in.
Yeah.
How have they handled that transition?
I think it's been great. I think that really it's not that far off from what they did before. It's just a matter of where your tendencies, where your priorities, how many reps you're practicing a certain concept versus another based on compared to how they did it before. We certainly got to use Jalen's skill set and have him be a threat with the ball as much as possible. And so, I don't feel like there's as many changes as maybe, some of the guys. I think, it's been seamless. Coach Cap has done a great job. He's well versed in all the schemes that we've done before, as well as being able to help the guys translate things, that they had done technically, language wise in our offense. Just that translation. He's super, super sharp, and his relationship with these guys, you can see it coming out as the spring's gone on. And just how much better they got from practice 1 to practice 15. I think it's probably the position group that if I had to pick one or two, they would certainly be in that mix as far as the improvements that they've shown here in the spring.
When you're recruiting guys, like everybody's got all the tangible things, the surface level things. What are some intangibles or some values or character things that you look for, like when you're recruiting guys to a place like Alabama?
Yeah, I think there's, toughness is always going to be something that I think is just critical. What doesn't matter where you're at. I think the game was meant to be played that way. The championship teams have that mental toughness, that physical toughness that you have to have. But I think there's also the discipline, accountability, along with just, a personality that kind of like wide-eyed, just excited to learn, excited to grow, just feel like they haven't arrived, and that there's not a ceiling that they're looking at, and they're far from it if they think there is. And so it's just a matter of growth mindset, and guys who want to come in here and be a part of something, not just it's all about me. And right. So we always talk about in terms of our non-negotiables being family, accountable, and toughness. And so, I think a hit on all three of those, and just doing it the right way, doing it with class, integrity, and also, while you're here, making sure we get that degree as well.
A couple fun questions.
You got a couple?
I got a couple fun ones.
Okay, give him a couple. Oh, hang on. Let me go one more.
Serious boy? I might pick up one too.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
What traditions of Alabama that you've learned about that you're keeping and keeping part of the program, and what are some things culture-wise, tradition-wise, do you feel like you're bringing to Alabama?
That's a
really good question, and I think that everything. I don't want to say every day I learn something, but I think there's been many times you're like, okay, I think I got this. I think I understand this. I understand that. What's important. What's been done for decades, what's been done just maybe over the last year, and understanding this sounds like something they really like, but is it really a tradition, And so, I think guys, just the pride they have in some of the simple things, how they look, and how we practice, and tucking shirts in and for workouts and practice. I mean, those are just things that just the pride of the place that come out. Obviously there's the walk that we had, and that's special, and seeing those guys do that A-Day was really cool. But the fourth quarter program is something these guys just really believe in, and so a lot of these traditions are things that just are they're so accustomed to, and I could go on, but keeping some of those things and still bringing in the things that I think have been good. If it adds to our culture, and it's something that the guys might enjoy. We're going to balance that between hey, these are really important aspects of Alabama football, and these are some of the things that have worked for me. And I'm not married to a lot of things, but I think it's more about the feel and the energy and what can we bring to add to what's already here.
Did I read something about Thunderstruck?
Yeah, that's with the out in or on game day, the walk. So
Is that you, or was that a Bama thing? That's
a
Bama. That's
thing,
Bama.
yeah.
I mean, that
Yeah.
goes
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
Thunderstruck goes hard.
It is a good song.
Yeah.
It's a classic football song.
Yeah.
What's a core value? Not a core value, but what is like a non-negotiable thing that you've brought with you to Alabama as far as like a culture deal? This is how we're going to go about business.
Honestly, there's probably the guys would probably say there's a lot of things.
What would the players say? Something a wrinkle that's been thrown in.
Well, I can think of something. The one that made some waves early in the spring was, we play music in practice, so that was something that hadn't been done before. So, not that I feel like you have to, but I think there's a lot of benefits that can come from it. Trying to, first of all, the juice and energy, the vibe that it can create, but also I think there's ways you can utilize it for even distractions,
right?
And so there's a lot of distractions on game day, right?
Yeah,
100,000 people. There's music playing in the stadium, and so I think there's a lot of things we actually, and I tell these guys, I'm intentional on telling them the things that maybe I'm trying to do someday when I feel like they're even super locked in. Just cranking it up a little bit louder to see if they can work through that and listen a little harder, communicate a little better, hand signals and stuff. You always practice noise stuff, throughout the week, especially home and away, depending if you're offense and defense. But those are just some of the things that I think are benefits of that. That was something that hit the waves a little bit. And
yeah,
our guys enjoyed it. And again, it's been a positive. I think.
Dude, as players, I think we can all agree.
The music is the booth.
The music is the music.
Are you taking requests, or is this a set playlist? We're not messing with it.
There's we have specific people, and it's been transferred on. Robbie, my guy from Washington, he started it, and I'm like, we got to have the clean versions. We got to have the,
like,
all
Coach
of that.
D's
We got fans, we got people,
again.
we got media, we got around practice, but that, and I think he's kind of pushed it on. So they'll certainly take requests. And at some point, I'm sure they'll get to themes of the day or themes of the week and so forth. So
you had mentioned something about tucked in shirts and basically details of how you operate around the facility, on the practice field and everything else. Do you feel like you got those? You feel like you had some of those ideas when you talk all the way back to, I was on a 2-8 team, losing team, and then I was part of a national championship team when you played, like how those locker rooms look differently and what it takes to win. And even if I might sound ridiculous saying you have to have your tucked in shirt, but there's a way, I promise you, if you just trust me, these are the things that it takes over and over consistently to get to the top.
You got to think Saban's a tucked in shirt guy.
Got to.
Yeah, and it's great.
Nothing's changed.
But being a part, we've all been a part of bad locker rooms. We've been a part of good locker rooms and what good culture looks like and bad culture looks like.
We weren't allowed to have earrings.
Yeah.
Well, I think is what all these things, whenever you're talking about, those type of, you call it non-negotiables or whatever they are. I think it always goes back to pride in who we are and that you're willing to be a part of a team. And it's not a sacrifice, but man, looking good for us is important. And this is one of the things that we think is about looking good and looking unified and looking the way you're supposed to when you're representing Alabama, whether it's in the weight room, whether it's on the practice field or on game day, and so, what your facility looks like and are you picking up after yourself? Those are classy things you should do as just a human being.
Right. And
it shows that, the simple things, we're not going to overlook those and just be out there and focus just on the football part. And, I know many programs and many people have said the same thing, and I truly believe it. How you do anything is how you do everything. And those things right there and how you treat people, we're on the road, I have no doubt that these guys are going to, travel well, represent themselves and our program in a first-class way, home way, wherever they're at on their own. Doesn't have to just be when we're together as a team, but those values come out in those type of actions and those type of things that you feel are important to your program.
How you do anything is how you do everything.
It's a phenomenal quote. Phenomenal quote.